Hi friends, my name is Borrodante. Let's draw some of those Treboss. So as you can see, I didn't do all that much of a great job after finishing the last episode of Outlandish Curiosity. I literally just drew the skeleton when I was testing out my good old tablet that got back to me recently. It was pretty good, especially when I positioned it correctly, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Right now, let's plan our things for today. So we'll probably draw two of these guys. Oh, and I really want to do the old sock, the main guys in here. They should have a bit of a special armor on them as well, with extra leaves in their hair and everything. This should look really cool. We might even want to start with these now. Now let's quickly do the previous two. I hope I won't get tired right away. As you can see, it's not exactly the perfect time for starting the episode, but go away, colors, we don't need you right now. So let's do things a bit differently. It felt a little bit, I don't know, exhausting, frustrating, or something was wrong when I was just drawing over old sketches with new sketches. Like, I wasn't really thinking with 3D because of that. I was really following my old shapes. And for some reason it's so frustrating, like it's unpleasant. This is not the way I want to sketch. I want to actually think through the geometry. So I think at certain point we'll even turn off the old sketches at all. So right now let's draw through all the skeletons like this and actually build up a new anatomy from it, and then go with new details on top of this new anatomy. Kinda like that. It actually might turn out sort of faster than it used to be. Might be a bit messier, but it's not a big deal, so it's better to do it this way anyway. Okay, so let's finish this one. How do you show feet schematically? Okay, I like that. Ooh, this one should show some bottom plane. Something feels wrong. I guess this foot should have some more of an anatomical shape. And let's show the knee as well. Somewhere over there. I guess it's fair to do this. Alright, so this is the basic anatomy. We don't really need to show anything else so far. Well, there's no point in drawing skeleton for this, but yeah. Okay, let's do this one. From the shoulder, from the elbow. It sometimes takes some time. Well, yeah, it does. It does take some time, sometimes, to adjust to a proper pace of making strokes, to actually start drawing proper shapes. I don't know why, but for me it's the case. Usually when I just start drawing right away, it's a bit like the hand feels a bit wooden. Like, you feel rusty a bit. But after like 15 minutes of intense drawing, you really start feeling like an artist. So, cranial part with the circle on the side. I feel like I could really be good without a circle anymore. Like, all I need is just to define this part. I just do this to locate the ear. It should be in the bottom rear quarter of the circle. And this is the eyebrow line. And the bottom of the circle, which is basically the bottom of the ear, is exactly the height of where the nose ends. I almost poked my eye out with a pen right now. And so we think through, always have to keep in mind that there's an eyebrow level, then there are eyes, and somewhere in the middle of the eyes, that's where the nose starts coming out of the face. Before that, there's this little area, right? I mentioned it once, should mention it more often. And from that point, we drag out some nose. Yeah, there we go. Since I kind of mastered using this method of building faces, I started really drawing like straight, long, big noses. Not the kind of my noses. I can go with big, good noses. Anyway, so we searched the middle of the back of the head, and that's where we start drawing the neck. And neck has this backwards angle, and then there's this important point. That's where one of the spine bones stick out of the back, and you can always see it on the back, at least one of them. And then the spine goes with this awesome S shape. Yeah, Now, one thing to remember, this line is higher than the clavicles, meaning this, the collarbone, is more of a human way to call it, actually. So, this is where this muscle ends, and here we have this slightly bent area. Like, that's the scapula in front, and in the back, this is basically a top line of the... I mean, in front, this is clavicles, and in the back, this is the top edge of scapulas, these thingies. And it helps to define some shapes on the spine, because spine doesn't really have any exceptionally noticeable features. It's just a whole lot of bumps on the skin, and that's it. I'm not like even 100% sure how all this goes, but something like this. I keep constantly forgetting how exactly the spine goes. I remember there's like two muscles of this sort, two pairs of muscles here and here. Something, I don't know. Actually, I always have references for anatomy open. This weird page, I found it from Pinterest. And these are like some photographs drawn over to show the exact, like, applied anatomy in reality. Really helpful. It allows you to look up some features if you forgot them real quick. Yeah, you see this thing goes backward. Oh, it's just a lot more wide. And this thing has another bump at the bottom when it goes over the scapula. Okay. See how wide scapulas spread when the person raises their shoulders. That's the thing. Scapulas never stand in place. In here, these vertical lines, they're like almost completely vertical. And if you raise, it's like very big angle. It's pretty interesting mechanism, if you're a nerd. So I almost drew it correctly, only not at all. So there's another one like this. Although it's not super exaggerated, because that guy was like super buff. And in here, it's just wider, like this. And then there's another one coming from underneath. And it's ending at the pelvis area. Not a single butt in all the references. What a disgrace. So this guy is the buffest one, the most masculine. This one is middle range, and this one is kind of an exomorph, right? That's not an alien. Alien is xenomorph. Yeah, exomorph meaning a lean person. I just like these words. Exomorph, endomorph, necromorph from Dead Space. So apparently I just started drawing muscles for some reason instead of bones. Whatever. Making some effort to create like shapes of bones. I have no idea if I'm doing anything right here though. And second part of all the limbs always have double bones actually. But that's not that important at the moment. Feels weird anyway. We really should just repeat what I already drew before. So I'm lowering the right scapula because this arm is going forward. Makes sense. And this one's going backward, that's why the scapula is pressed to the spine like this, staying vertical. Okay, now let's make this transparent and draw some clothing on top. Ooh, nice anatomy. At least I think so. So here's the reference right next to us. So let's do some freestyle impro, meaning we can see a pretty well-defined geometry. So now we can kind of like have a free flow with details right away. I have no idea what that means, but I think it's gonna be cool. Let's make a bit of a different hairstyle for this guy. So this one has all three streaks of hair connecting into one, and it's kind of like flat one, and then it's what can we do with that? I have no idea. Split into two? Wow, let's do that. That's because this guy has really long hair, so he decided to go into something artistic. So interesting, I'm just going with armor now. I don't really have to think about body part because it's already done. And I just really think through the clothing, making sure that it looks cool, has good dynamics to its shape. Planning. Planning is love, planning is life. So So I'm drawing the armor plates very subtly because on top there's a lot of leaves and they have to cover it in a very complex way. There's always like, this is a piece of armor on his waist. So now I'll be adding leaves and then I'll just erase a little bit of this armor and then draw over the subtle one as well. Right, now let's think through the composition of leaves. It should look really good. Let's use a bit thicker leaves on this one. This one would be just a bit different. In a good way, not like he's special or something. Alright, seems legit. Interesting how you developed the design for the tribe, right? And it felt like, well, okay, we put these ideas together and here's the look. And you kind of prove it and it looks fine, but it doesn't really live its life, you know? And after drawing it a lot from different angles on different characters and different situations and adding some variations here and there, it starts to like make sense. It becomes like it's an actual thing that people really wear. Shapes become a bit different, like they're actually more organic on a surface. It really looks like people dig this kind of style, and it's understandable why, because it really is well done, like it's a culture. This is the kind of feeling I get right now after defining this whole thing. Okay, let's add a mask. So this one will have some kind of a mask that goes like this on the top. Like this creature had some kind of like heavy eyebrow bone or something. Pretty cool. I wonder what it looks like from the front. We'll probably apply one of these guys in the next pages as well. So let's add some tattoos. Let's bring back the anatomy and start masking out it everywhere where it doesn't show up. Okay, cool. Now let's do Gilbert in a good way. Now that's an oddly shaped hat. Let's try that again. So yeah, about the whole elbow thing, elbow, shoulder, drawing from the elbow. When I got my old tablet back, it's really huge, and it's not a screen tablet, like not Cintiq. You don't really get any support to make it tilted like this. And that's super important because otherwise your elbow will hit the table if you draw on it flat. Or you have to be like super high from the table so you wouldn't have to do this. This is really bad if you end up drawing like this, to be able to draw with your elbow free. So what I did is I actually, when I use it, I pull it down and make it rest with its bottom edge on my lap and laying with its back on the table edge, like on the very edge. So it's like at the angle and really low, so it's super free. So if you have a tablet and you don't know where to put it, like if it's too big, this is a good way to do it. And you kind of like hold it if you use buttons or something. A good way to go. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find a way to tilt it properly and also to set your elbow free on some chairs, because armrests is like my greatest enemy. I hate chairs and armchairs with armrests. So I decided to skip the hat for now. So again, I'm really trying not to just repeat the design, but to make it make sense in this angle, at this shape. Maybe more sense than it ever had in the concept or whatever. Is it correct at all to make these kind of lines, like not only in front of the leg, but in the back as well? Not sure. There's a good chance it's not, but I don't know, I'll do it so far. You guys tell me if that's a thing for classical pants to have this kind of lines in the back. It probably wouldn't last, because the moment you sit on it, it's not gonna stay there anymore. So I guess it's just impossible to make them there. I don't know what this is, but it's kinda cool. The back felt a bit empty without some extra details. Is that it? He is not super like overwhelmed with details from the back at all. Now the hat. We have to do it. Let's zoom in. Enhance. So this is the top point. Looks like one of those awesome Jewish hats. Yarmulke, right? Yeah, I think it's called Yamaka. Oh, there we go. It just should be a bit more round. It shouldn't like be so nipple pointy at the top. It looks weird. Oh yeah, it almost looks like that kind of hat. I'm having such a hard time nailing the shape of this hat. It's so specific. Like, it's all in the nuances of the shape of it. It's slightly long, slightly bent like this, and all the borders of it are also bent. It's so complex, and now I feel like the borders are a bit too short. Let's try figuring it out, actually. Warp. So it should be like a bit longer in front and in the back. I think we should like make it bigger overall too. These hats are pretty big, actually. Almost like a fireman hat. Okay, a whole lot of hair. Let's do that. So the beard should go... No, first let's do the hair. Man, that's complex. And a mustachey. Cool. It's Gilbert from an angle. Okay, we won't need barely any anatomical parts from the bottom layer of the sketch. What kind of wrinkles does the jacket have when you move your shoulder backwards? I think kind of these ones a bit. Shouldn't do too much of this because in that way jacket would look like it doesn't fit Gilbert. Like a bad jacket. Okay, great, we're done with this page really. Let's mark in some geometry hints. Alright, now for the main guys, for the Ulsock. So let's start with this right one, because he has a little bit of angle. Let's probably do this one today and then continue in the next episode. Maybe all three of them will have different signs on the chests. Like this one is... Well, I was going for the sun, but the sun would be logical to stay in the center, right? This one will be like the wind. Some cool triple plates on the sides. Now, I think they could use even like special plates on the shoulders, which is something other Treboss don't have. Wow, that looks cool. Now, let's do the mask. This should be the most dangerous animal skull. And that would mean a Quinovax mask. Alright, let's see where this gets us. So concentrated to make sure that the geometry is proper. It's easier than it seems to draw these kind of horns. It's just important to make sure that the proportions, like thickness, is correct, so they wouldn't be too slim, which is usually my problem. And some leaves in the hair is gonna be the last touch. It looks like a Brazilian parade. Cool. Well, I guess this is it for today. Pretty cool design. I think we'll do some changes for other ones, especially for the girl. The left one is supposed to be a girl. I remember redrawing that actually. Where is that? Oh, it's just in this color version. Okay then. Also, I should mark that in to not forget. Ulsock should have blood paint on their masks. That's also a very special thing about them. Cool. Even more awesome. I mean, it looks like that because it's in lines at the moment. When it will be in colors, it will look less complicated, actually. I feel like we should have chosen even thinner lines. The sketch is kinda small. Like, for something bigger, it would be enough. But in this case, we could even use, like, 5 or 4 pixel line. But I guess it was good enough for this particular situation. Anyway, tell me what you think about the Ulsock design. I think it turns out pretty cool. I like the spheres of wisdom hanging off his hair in the front. So yeah, until next time. And I thank you for watching if you did. I guess you did if you're here. Leave a like and subscribe. Tell a friend. Set your elbow free. Do whatever you want. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Man, this is badass. We should probably add more armor on the rest of the limbs. But aside from that, badass.